Hey, besties. Let's throw some shade, honey. You ready to get into it? This reunion could have been in two parts. We did not need three parts. And then this reunion, they gave us an extra 15 minutes. Why? Because Married to Medicine ended. Because on Real Housewives of Atlanta, we got an extra 15 minutes. What are you trying to cover up? Some what? Because we don't need it. We don't want it. What does the 15 minutes do? And like someone said about Real Housewives of Atlanta, that last 15 minutes on Sunday, someone made a very interesting point and said that they should have used that time to have Cynthia and Kenya talk. Because, Kenya's not talking to Cynthia. And it would have been nice to know, what was going on in Kenya's mind. But that would have been too much like right. That's almost like, giving Kenya confessional times. So she don't even get that. So that is so cold-blooded. Kenya, if you come back next season, you need to get your contract together. You need to grab a peach and some more money, honey. But what I've heard, I didn't really get all into YouTube yesterday, but I think it's been confirmed that Kenya allegedly has been fired. I haven't looked into it, but I'm seeing the buzz is that she has been fired. Oh, okay. Because maybe, I don't know. And then she was supposed to start her YouTube channel where she was going to do her own confessionals. She's waiting. She wants you to subscribe first, and then she's going to, boom, come out with it. So I'll wait and see when it happens. What else? Back to this. This reunion could have been in two parts. Garcelle, I did not like the way you walked out. It fell flat. It gave temper tantrum. It gave spoiled brat. It gave, since you guys been ignoring me, hear me roar. I'm leaving and I'm sure about to mess this thing up. Well, you didn't. You didn't. And I hate to say, but Dorit was right. It was unprofessional, but you have your ways. I think it would have landed better had we had two parts and she stuck it out on part one and then stormed off and did the thing and maybe didn't come back for part two. I don't think we needed it. Or because, like, part three, all she did, she said three things, I think. Three things. And one of them was to Sutton, I ain't talking no more. They don't like me. I don't like them. I'm sick of them. Something like that. Ciao. Well, Garcelle is gone. Well, welcome back, besties. You are now behind the shade. Thanks for joining me. I recap your favorite reality shows weekly. Now let's kiki and ha and get into another episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 14, episode 20. It's reunion part 3. Besties, tell me, how did you like the season? The whole season. We got Kathy Hilton back, and she seemed more enjoyable this season, I will say. I caught her jokes. She was funny. She kind of seemed like she was gravitating with the group better and doing her own thing in her own way. Bose came in strong, sometimes wrong, but she's here. We like her. I don't know about this having a baby thing. That's just what I don't know. What, you're almost 50, no girl. But strong. She's about it. Dorit, she got on my nerves because the first part of the season she was riding Kyle like a donkey. Then the second part she rode Sutton like a donkey. She has some displaced anger and good reason why, if this is a real storyline, she's going through a divorce that she didn't see coming. Kyle, last season she came out the closet. This season she went back in the closet. But she left her big toe out. She left a little piece of weave hanging out the closet. So whatever. Erica, she decorated her home with a whole bunch of stuff in it and spent a whole bunch of money. for somebody else's property. Okay. Who else? Sutton. We got to meet her mom and kind of understand where she comes from and how she's wired, you know. Garcelle's doing a darn thing. She came in hot. She's producing, directing, acting, projects, movies, Netflix, deals, wheels, grandma, beach house done. Great. Then we get to meet Jennifer Tilly's rich behind. Okay, just dripping in dollar bills. Okay, so let me know what you thought. It was okay. Dorit got on my nerves. Okay, so please like the video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. It helps me in the algorithm where people get to discover me. And make sure your notification bell is on, ding dong, so that you know each and every time I post my content. Now, remember how we left off last week? Dorit was telling Sutton, you know, doing that poor lady thing. Money isn't everything, you know, it's about love. Money can't buy you love. So Dorit accuses Sutton of thinking she's superior than everybody. Of course, Sutton's like, no, I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't. You know, name them, name them, name them. And so then Dorit says she buys people. I said, Lord. She bought Avi, we know that. She pays Avi to be around. So who else has she bought, Dorit? We need receipts. So you know Sutton, you know she's very repetitive. Name them, name them, name them, name them. Here go Kyle. Well, Jesus, let me talk. Who do I try to buy? Who have I tried to buy? Who have I tried to buy? Who do I try to buy? Honey, because you know you've been calling me that all day. Who have I tried to buy? And Dorit never answered her. She, you know, she does that. Oh, here she comes. Name them, name them, name them. So Jennifer Tilly says, you know, Sutton is generous. I don't know where you get that from, honey. She don't try to buy people. Kathy Hilton says she's frugal. What y'all talking about? I'm like, yeah, compared to your rich tail. Everybody on that stage is frugal compared to you. But nonetheless, and so Erica gonna say, oh, you kind of trying to call her cheap. And so then Kathy's like, yeah, you're cheap, Sutton. And then Sutton laughs because, you know, and she wants to be in her good graces, okay? And it's giving that Sutton respects rich women. It's just giving that, you know, Kathy Hilton, you know, Jennifer Tilly, you know, she trying to get in with Kyle, you know what I'm saying? So then Garcelle is like, you know, she's definitely not cheap. So back at Dorit's 4th of July party, Garcelle accused Bowles for being Dorit's spokesperson. So Garcella's like, you know, I had a bad morning that day. And then, you know, she came in loud. You know, she didn't ask what was going on or nothing. Bo says it does not take a rocket scientist to figure out what's going on. Sutton wanted to leave and she was still sitting there. And I was like, why is she still sitting there? Let her go. And so then on the after show, it was addressed that Sutton called Bowles an angry black woman. Ooh, you can't do that. That's like a racial slur almost. You know, it's a very caring thing to say. And so Sutton denies saying it after they didn't play the clip. I didn't say, no, I don't know. No, no, no. And so Bowles said, oh, and Garcelle, you didn't even clock that either, sis. And then here go homegirl. Oh, I didn't even hear her say that till just now. Really? Okay. Sometimes you can be right there and don't hear stuff. Sometimes you clock in the stuff, and sometimes you feel like they're not talking to you or about you. So you kind of, you know, tune it out. Tune it out. Okay. So Jennifer Tilly tells Sutton that, well, you did say it. So then Sutton agrees now that Jennifer had to tell her, you did say it. Hold yourself accountable, sis. So the son is like, well, you know, well, you were kind of yelling at me, girl. So now you remember. Now it's coming back to you, girl. And so Bose told her, no, I don't yell. And you need to straighten up. because you said it, but you was going to argue with this black woman down to the ground that you didn't say it until Jennifer Tilly told you did say it. You was getting ready to argue with Bowles. And Bowles says, I don't yell. I ain't yelled on here, and can't none of y'all say I yell because I don't yell. And then Higgles said, well, you came in strong. Now, who didn't taught her that? She picking up slang from Garcelle. And so Bo said, because I am strong. I was like, woo, get him, get him, get him. Now they go on to Sutton's drinking. Garcelle asked Sutton, remember when Garcelle asked Sutton at the party, what was she drinking? Oh, a watermelon something. It got alcohol in it. And, Dorit chimed in and Sutton tells her to shut up in her own house and told her she was such a bia. And I'm like, girl, I wish you would call me out my name in my own house. Baby. That watermelon drink would have been all over Sutton. Okay. Okay. So Andy asked Bowles, did Dorit, mean to say that comment like as a harmless joke? And so I'm like, why are you asking Bowles? She wasn't even there yet. She hadn't gotten there. And so Bowles said she was intentional. Oh. Ooh. And so Dorit asks, what am I doing to make it look like you have a drinking problem, Sutton? Like, what is it that I'm doing? Sutton says, because you keep bringing it up. And so a viewer said Sutton's behavior changes because she's a drunk. You don't even know these people, viewer. And so Dorit commented, facts. Child. Dorit took that like, she took that on the chin. She was like, oh. Dorit was not going to sit here and deny it. She owned it. And she was like, oh, next thing, Andy. Sure did say it. Yep. Facts. FACTS. That's me. That's what I said. So then she tells Sutton her drinking problem actually stems from her from back in 2020 when she put on social media that she starts having cocktails at 10 a.m. in the morning. Sutton was like, it was a joke. It was during the PDM mic, the PD mic, put it together, the troubling time between 2020 and 2023. And so, you can't say those words. And I think we all was on the bottle back then. We was stressed out. Didn't know we was gonna come out the house. We couldn't go nowhere. We couldn't be around nobody. We couldn't breathe in the mask. Child, we in the house just getting cabin fever. The walls look like they closing in. Child, we done decorated, repainted. We done remodeled our whole house sitting in that house. Folks done turned their garages into gyms. They done made guest bedrooms into offices. I think everybody was doing something. How many naps can you take in a day? I know I had some coloring books, child. I was in here coloring. Oh my goodness. Coloring. Having Zoom calls with your homies. It was something else. Okay, so Dorit says, well, that's your reality. It wasn't a joke. You walked around with that ocean spray bottle. She's like, you've been walking around with that ocean spray bottle after the P. The P 2020. I'm going to call it that. Sutton was like, who cares? That's my business. If I pour something in my ocean spray bottle, that's my business. Not the ocean spray bottle. Son, you don't let me find out you ghetto. Okay, hold on. So Dorit said if she was painting Sutton as an alcoholic, she would be doing a whole lot more, honey. I would be on your butt. Don't get it twisted. And so Eddie's like, was that a warning? I can't say the T word. Was that a warning? No, it wasn't a warning. Is it a promise? I'm like, Andy, who you been hanging around where you know if you say something, it's either a notice or it's a promise? And she's like, no, it ain't either. So then they go to Lisa Barlow. Hey, Salt Lake City. She called Dorit pretty. Sutton gonna comment and says, yeah, she's had enough surgeries. And anyone can be pretty. Girl. Okay, that was good. But honey, Dorit got her. Dorit said, what did Dorit say? She said, why hasn't Sutton done it? Child, Sutton has done it. That face so tight. Oh, goodness. Sutton look like she just unwrapped her face with some saran wrap, child. She do it too, child. She ain't, don't act like you're natural, Sutton. Okay. So Sutton's like, she hits back hard, see? Dorit says, and this is how it's gonna be from now on. You come for me, I'm gonna go low. Sutton said, got it, got it, got it. So they was like, and we're not going to get anywhere. Dorit was like, and we're not, and won't, sure ain't. So Erica says Sutton kicks women when they're down, on their luck, low, just going through stuff. Jennifer Tilly says, I haven't witnessed that, but she asks questions that seem like she's poking and not being empathetic. So Erica's like, sometimes those questions hurt, Sutton. They hurt. So Sutton says to Erica, well, other people have asked you those questions. Oh, goodness. Here go Erica. We're talking about you right now. Erica should have said, name them, name them, name them. So then Sutton like, well, did they kick you when you were down? Erica's like, you talking about Dorit and Kyle? She was like, this one and this one. First of all, you ain't finna call me no this one. You're gonna call me by my name. You ain't gonna never point at in my direction and call me a this one. Oh, honey. Child, Dorit. No, Kyle was sitting next to Sutton. I would have been like, I would have scraped her thigh with one of them crystals. I would have dropped one on her toe. Because Kyle dropped another crystal tonight on this episode. Okay, so Erica says, I didn't already cuss them out privately. Oh no, it was so funny to see a white woman say cussed. I done cussed them out privately. Next thing. So Kyle says, yeah, Erica felt like we didn't support her as much as Lisa Rinna did, but we didn't kick her when she was down ever, like you, Sutton. Sutton was like, well, I apologize. Erica said, and I accepted it. But are you aware that you do this? She don't answer. Erica thinks Sutton's intent was to humiliate and force a reaction. Sutton says, I didn't do that. I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do that. So a viewer says Sutton throws a temper tantrum when people clock her bad behavior. And Garcelle says, they asked Garcelle. Now, she over there pent up with an attitude, lip poked out, rolling her eyes, don't want to talk to nobody but Jennifer. And so she's kind of thrown off. She's like, yes, it can seem that way. Silence, right? No one's chiming in. It depends on who's pushing their buttons. No one's chiming in. And so I think this is when she gets agitated because, like she's saying, like nobody shows her grace. Nobody's saying anything. Everybody's quiet, like they're scared of her. But I remember when she first got, excuse me, Bestie, when she first came on to the show, they really wasn't fooling with her because, this is the first Black woman on the show. Well, besides, what was Will Smith's first wife's name? Cherie. Besides her, but she was a friend of. But it was just like it took them so long to kind of get used to her because they didn't want to say or do anything to appear, racist and have all that controversy going on. So they, you can tell that to me, you could tell that they all, like on New Jersey, how they said they all have a little meeting before the reunion and kind of talk about what they gonna do, who they, it was giving they were pushing Garcelle out. They want to push her out because they really want to get rid of Sutton too. I'm assuming, or they, whatever. So silence. So she still has to, keep talking because Andy is letting her talk and no one's chiming in. And it's weird to be left out here on her own island. She said that at the end of the show. I feel like I'm on my own island. Sutton's not saying anything. So then she continues. We all have our limits and things that irk us. She's like, I'm irked right now. She got irked while she was talking. She got irked her. Is that a word? Irked her? And so Andy says, why? Why are you so ticked off? Garcelle says, all of it. Just all of it. Now, I'm like, well, can she go now? Because she, like, that should have been, if somebody would have said something then, let's say Dorit, if she would have said something then, or even Kyle, because she mad at Kyle, she could have then, if she would have exited, because she don't want to talk. She's talking, no one's chiming in, Sutton's not defending or coming to her rescue, no one's saying nothing. She could have got up and left right in that moment. And so she says, because Andy said, why, when? And so she says, since I've been sitting on this couch. And she says, and I don't want to answer any more questions. And then I'm like, then you could have got your butt up and walked out off the stage. You still sitting there. You think you're going to be able to, she trying to get her check. She trying to put a 2 weeks notice in. You know what I'm saying? But jobs don't even require a 2 week notice anymore. All you got to do is kind of give them a heads up, probably a day or two. But she's trying to go to the end so she can get her money. And I understand. But she's livid, right? This would have been perfect. I don't want to answer any more questions. And then she could have got up because, honey, Garcelle looked so good. But let me point this out one more time. She may have been the best. She may have been the best looking housewife. This might be the best Housewives reunion look thus far. I mean, she did it. Tall, statuesque. Just every bead was laying right. You never caught her pulling nothing up. The gloves wasn't, they didn't move. She didn't have to pull on nothing, snatch, pull. She looked good in that dress with those gloves. Oh my goodness. Okay. So then here comes Jennifer. Is it because people are piling onto Sutton? Girl, what? Garcelle's like, I'm not thinking about Sutton right now. I'm thinking about me. Because me and Sutton, in this moment, we just fell out. Because here she go again, not coming to my defense when I'm her spokesperson. I'm forever speaking. She did it at the beginning of this reunion. So Sutton was like, oh, I do get rattled by this group and no one likes me. Erica says, well, I want to. But I just want to trust you. So they go back and forth and back again. And then Sutton's like, well, why do you want to be friends with me then? And so Erica says, because I have a great heart. And I was thinking, no, because you buy people. Erica wants to be bought, but she wants Jennifer Tilly to buy her, honey, because she be over there jocking and clocking everything Jennifer Tilly has, honey. She wants you to buy her. She wants to trust you so you can buy her, Sutton. So she says, because I have a great heart, I have moved on with my life. I'm in a better place. And I like the softer side of you, Sutton. And so Sutton's like, okay, well, I can do better. And so she said, I just felt a little ganged up on, like on the boat. And so Kyle was like, no, you was only only Dorit was coming for you. And she said, oh, Erica was too. And so Kyle and Erica was telling Sutton, yeah, and it doesn't feel good, does it? So Andy asks, where do you and Dorit go? I'm like, why are we going back to that? They said they wasn't moving forward. Dorit says, you have to recognize how low you go. And Sutton was like, oh yeah, 1,000%. I went low, honey. And so Kyle says, she can go lower. So Andy goes back to Garcelle, like, when I ask, why are you mad? Why are you over there poking your lip out? You look mad. And it's like everybody should have been able to read the room, honey, because Garcelle is fed to her up at this point, okay? She said, now this is like her third time talking. She's like, I don't get any grace in this group. I take accountability. I'm being held accountable, but it's not accepted. Like not one person looked at me and smiled today. Now let's go back to I took accountability. If you're talking about, you accusing Dorit and PK of staging a break-in when their little kids are home and all this and all that, and you never really apologized, you pretty much are saying, I said it, I own it because it was on camera, and that's how I felt. It wasn't an apology. So what do you expect? That's, you got to be careful accusing people of crimes. We got to be careful of that. So she's like, I don't get any grace. I take accountability. It's not accepted. Like no one looked at me and smiled today. So she's talking about Kyle, because remember in part 1 when they got on the stage and they came onto the stage, she was like, hi Kyle. And then Kyle said, hi everyone. And then she said, oh Kyle, you look nice. And Kyle kept going. So it's kind of like, it sounds like they're pushing you out of the group because they want to come after Sutton and push her out too. And so Kyle was just maybe saying that maybe it's because everyone is stressed out when they get here. Like, this is a reunion. This is where all the mess gonna just be laid out on the table. Ain't nobody here to have no party. And this ain't no it can be a kumbaya. It can go kumbaya or it can go low to HELL. And so she's like, we don't come here to smile and da-da-da-da. And it's like, that's not what she's saying, Kyle. She's talking to you, and hit dogs will holler. Because she's talking to you because you know what you did. You didn't speak to her on purpose, and she clocked you. And here you are hollering. So Kyle asked Garcelle, well, were you smiling at people and they just weren't smiling back? Girl, we're talking about you. Yes, Kyle. For instance, she said she gave you a compliment and you didn't respond. You was hating because that girl looked beautiful. Moving on. She spoke to you, complimented you, and then you just looked and walked right past her. Okay, moving on for real. Garcelle says, yes, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. No, it's not. She could have got up then. She's still sitting down. So on set, on a break, Garcelle tells Sutton that she can't stand none of these people. And I'm like, okay, you could have got up right after we got back on. You could have got up then. And his son says, yeah, they really hate me. So Andy addresses that all the women are in heat and they horny and they've been flirting with folks. So they've been flirting, child. Remember Sutton liked the guy on the boat, and they was flirting with Bose's chef, and then the guys that came over to do the massages and all. And Erica was like, because we all single. We sure are. So then Andy asked Dorit, does she think about dating? And she says yes. And so Bo says she needs to date a PYT. And then everybody's sitting there like, what's that? And it's like, come on, y'all. And so, pretty young thing, as opposed to PK being a pretty old thing. A POT. We're going to do PYT this time. So, and then Andy asks who's, she's sleeping with any famous people like Garcelle's. Garcelle has an elite roster of men, okay, in Hollywood. Eddie Murphy, Johnny Depp, Sean Penn, Will Smith, the list goes on. Anyone else? Andy asks Garcelle, any spin the blocks? And Garcelle says, no. And then she goes to Bowles and she's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're asking that. Why are you asking that? He said, because this question gets answers. Well, we know she has a man. So next, Jennifer Tilly, and she says she wishes. So Andy asked Kyle, has anyone slid in her DM since, you took wife off your bio? And so she says, yeah, random men and women. And so Andy also asks Jennifer Tilly, or he asked the group, who do they think will get remarried first? And Jennifer Tilly said Kyle, and a few others agreed. And so then they move over to Erica. She just finished another run of Chicago, the Broadway play Chicago in New York. And she said it meant a lot to her because it was unfinished business. So I'm assuming she had to stop doing the show when Tom got into all that trouble. And so she said this time, her mom came and her son came and she had fun. Now we know they went into this, showed a clip of her son. He had to testify in the ASAP Rocky trial. And he's really handsome, cute guy. And so he texted and told his mother the night before that he was going to have to be on TV and testify. And she was like, oh my goodness, because he's such a private person. And, he doesn't want to be associated with the show or anything like that because he's a cop. And that's just his personal preference. And so she respects it. And so it makes sense because, he has to protect folks as well as himself. So over the last 4 years since the breakup with Tom, her and her son have has a stronger bond. Sorry. They have a stronger bond. He comes to visit a lot. I'm assuming, does he live? No, he's in LA, right? I don't know. Where is the son? He might be in LA. Okay, so so she says losing Tom and gaining her son made it all worth it. So then they go into when her therapist called her not pizza party behavior. This is why you didn't get one, because you've been evil and mean to everybody. So she admitted, being in a dark period when her marriage was in shambles with all that illegal stuff. And the drinking got out of hand and she was being mean to everybody. So Andy asked Erica, why haven't you divorced him yet? And she said it's low on her priority list. How do you divorce someone who's incompetent? And so I'm thinking, she just probably figures he'll, go to glory soon and then she gets everything, right? Like, she is renting a house in Inglewood. That girl looked like she lived on my block. She's not gonna divorce him. She won't. But do he have anything? Did they take it all? Is he worth anything in jail? Well, honey, I look, child. Tom getting 10 years, 10, and he's what, 85? And I bet you he gonna live all 10. He gonna get out. He gonna live long enough to get out. Watch. Yeah, so but he's trying to fight to go to a hospitalization type of facility. But I think they was like, no, you're going to jail. You did bad by others, you stole, you did a lot of scamming, you need to go to jail. So Eddie asked her, do you want to visit him? And so she's like, I thought about it, but why would I visit him? Because he's not there. Like they say he has dementia or whatever, so he's not there. You can't talk to him. He's not going to answer any of her questions. So she said, I know this is going to sound cruel, but I thought of visiting him, after he passes, goes to the upper room, go to glory. So then a viewer asks, now that Tom has been convicted of 10 years, what do you have to say? She said exactly what I would have said. Nothing. So on to Reba, Augusta, and her dad. We're talking about Sutton's family. Sutton says it was good closure for her, and there was forgiveness, that she needed to have for her dad, for him leaving them like he did. He unalived himself, pow right in the house, and has devastated everybody. And that's really probably why Reba acts the way she does. So Garcelle says she handled Reba very well. She was scared of her at first because, Reba told Garcelle to mind her business and her kids do seem weird and all this and all that. But Garcelle and Kyle say Reba is sweet and funny. And I'm like, must be off camera. Because where do you do that at? I didn't see it. It seemed like she just come in the house on one. So Andy asked Kyle and Kathy, is she kind of like you guys' mom was? And they both was like, nope, not at all. So Kathy Hilton said, no, our mom was warm and cuddly, honey. And so Erica was like, your Sutton's mom, Reba, reminds her of her grandma. She thought she was like reincarnated because they are strong, still magnolias. These are women from the South, honey. They've been through stuff. They got a lot of trauma. And Erica says, just because Reba is a therapist doesn't make everything peachy. And she is absolutely right, because we have seen it. And so Sutton will be having a real conversation with her mom the next time they see each other. It's time to put it on the table. Because I get it. Sutton wants Reba to heal. She probably does not want her to, leave Earth unfulfilled and unhealed and things just unsaid and unbothered. Just you want to bother and get to the get. Now remember, that guy that Reba was hanging out with, he passed away too, right? So she has two grievances. She's grieving two different men for two different reasons. So good luck, and I hope we get to see that Sutton, because I want her to move out here, at least stay with you for 6 months, and y'all get to get that talking going and healing, and maybe y'all can go through it to a therapist. That would be a good storyline for Sutton next season, and it'll kind of keep her away from them girls, because they're gonna come for her. And if Jennifer Tilly comes back, which she should, yeah, that could be her little friend. But okay, it ain't much she gonna say. And they're not gonna come for Jennifer Tilly. If I see that, Jennifer needs to just exit stage left, because she don't need none of that. I mean, none of them do, but I guess if she signed on to the show, then I guess she here for it though, besties. If you think about it, Jennifer's here for it. She's getting her feet wet now. So Sutton knows that she got some issues to work out with Reba, and hopefully it will soften her, or soften her up and be around these women, and can be a softer Sutton. She wants to be a better friend. So Andy brings up Kyle and Mauricio's paparazzi photos in Greece and da 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 da. Ciao. Kyle had dropped the crystal again. Everybody's like, Kyle. Everybody. The way, though, I know y'all hollered, because I was rolling. I said, girl, put it in your lap. Set it on the side on the table. What is happening? Oh, there's a table in front of you and one between you and Andy. Give it to Andy. Who is she sitting next to? Who was Sutton? Give it to Sutton. So neither Kyle nor Mauricio has filed for divorce. They're not going to. And I looked up their worth. Together, they're worth $100 million. So that will put them both at $50 million. Not bad. I mean, why can't y'all file? Kyle said, I want everything that's coming to me. He got that agency growing. I want everything that's coming to me. But did you know Mauricio's a little younger than Kyle? He is 2 years younger. He's 54. She's 56. She said they talk. They haven't filed. They're cool, but they talk sometimes. So she's starting to cry. Kathy is crying again, because Kathy was crying, I think. When else was she crying? Talking about Reba, maybe? She was crying a little bit. So Andy wants to know why she's crying. She was like, hello, it's my husband. 30 years of memories. We have 4 children. Our life It's a loss. I'm grieving my marriage. Duh. So Kathy says she wants them to get back together. Andy was shocked because, as we know, Kathy never really liked Mauricio because the way he left her husband's business, right? But she wanted to get back together. She said she don't like change. She just wants this to get back for the kids. Just y'all work it out. You can do it. And you would think after 28 years or whatever, married 30 something, how long? 32? They've been married a long time. You would think hey, let me just shut up because you know what? Marriage is hard. But Kyle said she liked being married, but marriage is hard. And let's not pretend like Mauricio wasn't cheating before. Everybody knows. Okay. So Andy said, last year you seemed mad about it, and now this year you seem sad. All you do is cry and drop crystals. And so Kyle admits that she regrets that they both allowed themselves to get to this place. Like, he has never said he wanted to get back together because he doesn't, Kyle. Do you realize what you did to him, ma'am? Or do we have to go back to this? Yes, allegedly there was rumors he had been cheating on you forever. I don't know. That's what you was alluding to last season. We'll get to that. And so Kyle is just like, but yeah, Kyle, let me talk to you. Kyle, come on, bruh. Wake up. You went crazy last season, last year. You probably embarrassed. That sealed the deal for Mauricio. Oh, you gonna step out in public with a woman? Oh, okay. I'm gone. Pew! Don't get mad because he gone. He probably would have worked it out with you. And so she just said, now we got all this money. He's traveling. He got this fame from the show. He getting attention from the women. Women are snakes, including yourself. You snaked on him with a woman. You know how the attention is with women. You're speaking of yourself. They see a good husband that they want. He's fine, Kyle. We don't care about him he wasn't a good husband. Ain't this where y'all, this is why y'all here? He wasn't a good husband. He was a good dad. He's a good dad. He's not a good husband. Baby, they want him because he's fine. And so she says, he ain't never lived single because he's been married all his life. So, this is new for him to be partying, soiling his royal oats and everything. And so he's doing it with young women. And so Kyle says, yeah, I would be jealous behind that. But she's not. I would be so jealous by that. I'd be so hurt. But Kyle isn't. Kyle was. She's just over it in a way. Andy's like, well, do you want to move on, Kyle? And so she was like, yeah, eventually. She said she almost bought a house across the street from Lisa. Who is Lisa? From Lisa Vanderpump. Child, I know you lying. Lisa cannot stand Kyle. I don't know who hates Kyle more, Lisa or her husband. What was his name? I see his face, but I can't think of his name. Anyway, I know you lying, but I mean, they're across the street probably means like they wouldn't even know. Lisa probably wouldn't even know unless the realtors told her. So Andy's over there like, please do move over there. Please move over there. And Kyle says she's been over to that house 3 times with contractors and everything, but she decided not to move because Portia's like 16. She has another year and a half of high school, and she doesn't want to uproot her from, her friends, her school. At a time like this, she'll wait till after she goes to college. Garcelle says she was shocked. No, wait a minute. Why don't you go over there and move over there with Mauricio? Move in his building. Ain't he in a condo? Go move in his building, girl. Now that would be a story. Garcelle said she was shocked when the word on the curb was that Mo was cheating. I'm like, no, you should have been shocked when your husband was cheating on you and you had no idea and was cheating for what she said 5 of the 7 years they were together or something. No, that's what you'd be shocked about. I'd be shocked about nobody else's cheating. Child, if yours could cheat, they all can cheat. So Kyle acted obtuse about it last year. That's what Andy said. Erica said, "Ooh, obtuse, what a choice." I was like, "Obtuse, what does that mean?" So Kyle said she has daughters, and this man is someone she doesn't want to speak badly of, and she don't want y'all speaking about badly about him either. Keep my man's name out your mouth because I'm hopeful that he gonna come back one day. And so she said, I don't like when nobody talks about him, you know? She's in love with him. So Andy asked Kyle, did you know that Mauricio was seeing anybody? And she said, no, but I assumed he was. But when he moved out, I used to see all his messages. I was reading them, child. I said, all right, Kyle, master detective on the loose, honey. What did you read? Tell us, give us three. What was the three top messages that you didn't like? How was he getting at the women? Did he have game? Was he strong? Was he just outwitted, or was he beating around the bush and being lovey-dovey? Come on, tell us, Kyle. What would a message from Mauricio read like? What does he say? Good morning, beautiful boobs. How are you? Can I come sit my coffee cup on your chest? We want to know. So she was like, oh, they was all like, okay, detective. And so Kyle, Andy asked, well, how you? And so Kyle's like, no, tips are given to women only off camera. And I'm like, you darn right, Kyle, because if you would have said anything, honey, we would have booted you out of the women's society, honey. Well, never mind. We're gonna keep going. Kyle admits she's seen every crumb, but then she just stopped looking because it's only so much hurt and pain you're gonna put up with. And it was like every crumb, every crumb. Uh-huh. And so then Andy asked, how did she feel seeing Mauricio with other women? And she was like, sad, nope. Devastated, angry, nope. But it was weird to see it because he looks like someone else with a whole nother woman. That ain't the one she knows, okay? So he got a tongue lashing by the other four Kyles, apparently. I said, not the other four Kyles. And so she tells Andy that she looks forward to moving on soon. I'm like, okay, is Morgan applying pressure over there for the paperwork? Possibly. And you know what, Kyle? How you gonna come back next season? Like, what is Kyle Richards gonna look like next season? It's just like, Kyle, if you don't come out as a full lesbian next season, you really don't need to come back. But I know this is your show and you will be back. You're not leaving, but if you come back, you and Morgan need to come back. But I get it. Oh, she's gonna be so full of anxiety. Oh my goodness, she gotta respect her wishes like Erica's son. Oh, but you just sat here and made her more famous, I'm sure. But yeah, Kyle, you need to come out. So Kyle, Kyle, are you a lesbian? We have waited 3 parts almost to the end to get to the question that we all wanted to know on episode, part 1. Kathy Hilton is over there cracking up. So Kyle waits to let her finish laughing. She's still laughing. Kyle's about to talk. Kathy's still laughing. She said, okay, let me know when you finish. Are you done or are you finished? Ooh, Kathy over there cracking up. So Kyle says it's a hard thing to say. What? It's hard to say I'm a lesbian? Kyle, you are 56 years old and you can't be real with yourself and others. It's not a big deal. This is not the 70s. What is happening? What is the road blockage about? Shock? But you already community. Can you come out of the closet and go back in? This is just weird. Like, oh God. That girl she then came out the closet, went back in. Now she just want to show a toe, a piece of hair, an arm, an elbow. Girl. So next time somebody needs to push her out the closet and close the door. Girl, living your truth. You are too old for this. Ain't that what Garcelle told you? If you want to be a lesbian, be a lesbian. What is so hard? The kids don't care. They grew up with this. We're okay. Everybody's fine. Come out. Your nieces, they're fine. Kathy even talked to them. They didn't even care. So Kyle says she needed to address this with her daughters. It's a strange feeling. Girl, be bisexual then. Can you be bi? Golly, just say I'm bi. You better say it next season. You better admit to something. Say I tried, I buy, I lied. I want Mauricio. And if that's who you want, I want to see you chasing him every scene. I want to see you calling him at his door, at his job. Chase that man if that's who you want, girl. Follow me for more relationship advice. She said the kids support her. Support you how? Like what? You need to support yourself. They don't even care either. You already done the damage. You already embarrassed them too. Kathy says she talked to Paris and Nikki too. They don't even care. Told you. Kyle told Kathy Hilton to let her speak on this. Do not help. Oh, I thought you don't need help. No, let me speak because you're going to say too much and I'm not trying to say nothing. I'm scared to come out, okay? I went back in. Leave me alone. So, Kyle, you said you talked to your daughters. What did you say? You know, she talks without talking. No details at all. So, in my opinion, she came out to her kids. One arm at a time, one eyeball at a time, one toe at a time. Ain't no stopping us now. So, Andy asks as we wrap up, because I'm sure this is like the next 15 minutes of extra time that we did not need. What was the biggest surprise, good or bad? He goes around the room. Jennifer Tilly says a lot of taping, like all this footage for this little piece of stuff they put in these episodes. She said, you got enough footage for 3 seasons. Andy said, that's a good idea. Kathy Hilton said she had an amazing time and we got 2 good additions, Bose and Jennifer. Erica says she feels good. Bose says everything. The depth of emotions of these ladies is really dramatic. Oh, that's just Dorit. I found a life friend. I feel blessed. Girl, y'all got to still get to know one another. Y'all ain't had an argument. Y'all ain't been through nothing. She ain't your friend. She is an associate. Garcelle, good. What? Seeing Sutton and her mom was good. Okay. Sutton, me and Erica had some fun moments. I want more. Kyle, not recognizing myself, but I feel strong now. Who's somebody about to come out that closet again? Close the door this time so you don't go back in. Live in your truth, Kyle. You're almost 60. Grow up. So then they toast with the watermelon drinks that they had at Dorit's house. Andy didn't like them. Kyle's still not drinking, so she had a mocktail. So they get ready to do a cast photo, honey. And this is where Garcelle rips the stage. Ha ha ha. Pun intended. I'm out. Nope, I'm not doing it. Dorit. What am I saying? Dorit. That's unprofessional, Garcelle. I don't want to be in the cast photo. She goes to her dressing room. She's talking to them. I don't want these cameras. She's undressing. She changed clothes. They're taking off her gloves and all that stuff. She said, they're all a-holes. No one says I understand you. I understand what you're saying. I'm here for you. I hear you. I feel like I'm on an island all by myself. I'm always honest with these girls. And, I just can't be friends with them. They don't like me. They don't like me. Erica says she just don't get it. And somebody said they feel it's unfair. Maybe it was Garcelle. No, she's like, does she feel like it's unfair? Like she's been treated unfairly? Like, Girl, this is a reality show. Everybody gets their turn to be the bad guy. Everybody gets on the hot seat, Garcelle. You thought you was gonna skate by, and they were gonna especially do it to you with another black girl on the set because it makes it look like they're not as racist. You know what I'm saying? You have said some things, but they've done things to you, but they all get a chance, honey. You know, you did tell Dorit clocked it. You mad because I didn't get divorced on the show? I was divorced already. You know, okay, well, they had to come for you some kind of way, you know, and you said what you said about Dorit and that break-in. It wasn't cool. It just wasn't cool. And so Erica's like, you know, life is unfair. And they all like, let's take this cast photo. We ain't got time for that. So then afterwards, Sutton goes to Garcelle's dressing room to discover she is gone, honey. And she's like, she's gone. She left like gone, gone. They're like, she's gone. And she was like, we were supposed to have supper. And I'm like, child, table for one. And that's a wrap, besties. Season 14 is over. I'll be back with another recap. Bye, besties.